Today, on the Big Dumb Face Trivia Podcast, we will cover general nonsense, movies of the 1990s, and bands that you maybe forgot about from the 2000s. It is episode 1. Welcome aboard. Here, it's happening. Welcome to the Big Dumb Face Trivia Podcast. My name is Adam. I'm going to be your host here. I go by Big Dumb Face professionally, mostly because of the way I look, and I'm excited to finally have this off the ground, and I am thrilled that you've decided to join me here. The goal is to make this a weekly trivia podcast, and that might expand to more depending on how things go. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to evolve, but I'm sure it will, and I hope that we can get to episode 100 and be able to look back at episode 1 and have some laughs at my expense. The way it's going to work is I'm going to give you 3 sets of 5 questions each on a variety of topics. There's going to be 3 topics every week, and they're going to rotate. They're going to change every time. I'll give you a few seconds to answer each question, and then we'll move to the next one. I want to kind of keep things moving fairly quickly without too much dead air. But if you need a little bit more time, just hit pause because technology exists for these reasons. And the topics today, as I mentioned off the top, are as follows. For questions 1 through 5 of our total of 15, we have general nonsense questions. This is where I can get a little unthemed and unhinged with you. Nothing specific to these ones. This is where I can kind of throw whatever I'm feeling like at you. Could kind of bounce all over the place with these ones. Questions 6 through 10, we're going to cover what I might consider to be the greatest movie decade in human history, the 1990s. And then questions 11 through 15, we were going to cover bands from the 2000s, including maybe a couple that you forgot about, even though you used to love them. So I will read each question twice, and I'll give you, like I said, a few seconds to think about each one, and we'll try to keep things moving along at a fairly good pace here. All right, so let's get started with today's trivia questions. The first category for questions 1 through 5 is general nonsense. Here is question number 1. In which book about finding something to do on a rainy day would you find the characters Thing 1 and Thing 2? In which book about finding something to do on a rainy day would you find the characters Thing 1 and Thing 2? Question number 2. Here's one of my favorite questions where we can combine science and movies. Kr is the chemical symbol for which element and also the name of a fictional planet that exploded in a movie in 1978. Kr is the chemical symbol for which element and also the name of a fictional planet that exploded in a movie in 1978. Question number 3. Which social media platform of the 2000s was known for the Top 8 Friends feature? Which social media platform of the 2000s was known for having the Top 8 Friends feature? Question number 4. Which Amazon device released in 2007 was originally called Fiona? Which Amazon device released in 2007 was originally called Fiona? And question number 5. One of my all-time favorite questions. What number does the Roman numeral LXIX represent? What number is represented by the Roman numeral LXIX? All right, hopefully not too difficult to start to the Big Dumb Face Trivia Podcast, but let's jump into the answers right away. We'll go over the answers to each section before we move on to the next one. So question number 1, Thing 1 and Thing 2, you would find them in the Dr. Seuss classic, The Cat in the Hat. One that was a big part of most of our childhoods, whether we own the book or not. It just felt like it was everywhere. Question number 2, Kr is the chemical symbol for the element krypton, and of course was also Superman's home planet that exploded in the 1978 movie titled Superman. Question number 3, the top 8 friends you would have found in the social media platform MySpace. Question number 4, originally called Fiona. It was not Alexa, it was the Kindle, the Amazon Kindle that was originally called Fiona. And question number 5, the number 69 is represented by the Roman numeral LXIX. There's no reason this can't be fun. All right, now it's time for the second section, questions 6 through 10. And for this section, we are going to talk about movies from the 1990s. I said it before and I'll say it again. The 1990s were the greatest decade in human history for the production of movies. So I'm going to give you some clues. All you need to do is name the movie. These are actually in chronological order. We're going to start with a 1991 movie and finish with a movie from 1999. And I hope you're ready for a trip down memory lane. Here we go. Question number 6 in today's trivia. This 1991 movie is well known for featuring Kevin Costner's exquisite English accent, Morgan Freeman as a vow-fulfilling Azim, as well as the Bryan Adams song, Everything I Do. This 1991 movie is well known for featuring Kevin Costner's exquisite English accent, Morgan Freeman as a vow-fulfilling Azim, as well as the Bryan Adams song, Everything I Do. Question number 7. This 1994 movie was based on a novella by Stephen King, takes place in Maine, and is the number 1 ranked movie on IMDb. This 1994 movie was based on a novella by Stephen King. It takes place in Maine, and it's the number 1 ranked movie on IMDb. Question number 8. This 1995 movie takes place during the course of one day and made sure that anyone of a very specific age, including mine, celebrates Rex Manning Day every April 8th. This 1995 movie takes place during the course of one day and made sure that anyone of a very specific age celebrates Rex Manning Day every April 8th. Question number 9. This 1996 movie featured Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, and a villainous Ed Harris threatening to unleash a nerve gas attack. This 1996 movie featured Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, and a villainous Ed Harris threatening to unleash a nerve gas attack. And the last one, question number 10. This 1999 movie, that I might say was the best of the decade, featured Jennifer Aniston during her peak Friends years and took place primarily around a fictional company named Initech. This 1999 movie, which I have said is the best of the decade, featured Jennifer Aniston during her peak Friends years and took place primarily around a fictional company named Initech. All right, so just like the first section, each one of these questions was worth 1 point each. And here are your answers. Question number 6, the 1991 movie featuring Kevin Costner's, I was kidding, it's a terrible English accent, was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Bryan Adams' song, of course, Everything I Do, still emotional to this day, an all-time classic. Question number 7, the number 1 ranked movie on IMDb from 1994, also featuring Morgan Freeman, The Shawshank Redemption, based on a novella by Stephen King. Question number 8, the 1995 movie that we're looking for that takes place during the course of one day and made Rex Manning Day famous, Empire Records. Damn the man, save the empire. Question number 9, featuring plenty of quotable sections. If you're a movie quotes kind of person, you're going to fit in real well here. The 1996 movie that we're looking for starring Nicolas Cage, Sean Connery, and Ed Harris is The Rock. The Rock. And question number 10, the 1999 movie. If you've ever had problems with a printer, you probably know a lot about this one. I am one of 47 people to have seen this movie in the theater, one of my claims to fame. The movie we're looking for is Office Space. All right, so I always say trivia is pass-fail. So if you've got 5 out of the first 10, you're doing fine. If you've got less than that, you just need to try a little bit harder next time. And if you've got more than that, you're doing great, and I'm super proud of you. And now we're going to move to the final round, 5 questions about bands from the 2000s. These bands may have been formed earlier than the 2000s, but they achieved kind of their peak years of success in that decade and are associated as a 2000s band, I would argue. If you want to argue with me, that's fine too. I'm here for it. But anyway, let's get started with these questions. Question number 11, name the band based on the clues I'm about to give to you. You're just naming the band here. So question number 11, this Detroit duo, founded in 1997, are known for a visual aesthetic on their album covers using the colors red, black, and white. This Detroit duo, founded in 1997, are known for a visual aesthetic on their album covers using the colors red, black, and white. Question number 12. While the most well-known version of this group formed in 2003, they actually existed as a neo-burlesque troupe through the 1990s and early 2000s and featured stars such as Christina Applegate, Carmen Electra, and Christina Aguilera on their roster at various times. Who are they? While the most well-known version of this group formed in 2003, they actually existed as a neo-burlesque troupe through the 1990s and early 2000s and featured stars such as Christina Applegate, Carmen Electra, and Christina Aguilera on their roster at various times. Who are they? Question number 13. Formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2001, this band's first album, Hot Fuss, came out in 2004 and contains arguably their biggest hit as the second track of their debut album. Formed in Las Vegas, Nevada in 2001, this band's first album, Hot Fuss, came out in 2004 and contains arguably their biggest hit as the second track. Question number 14. This band, featuring three brothers and a cousin with the same last name, released their most commercially successful album, Only by the Night, in 2008. This band, featuring three brothers and a cousin with the same last name, released their most commercially successful album, Only by the Night, in 2008. And the last one of these, question number 15. With Hayley Williams performing lead vocals, this band formed in 2004, and by 2007, their hit song Misery Business was pushing them to a new level of mainstream success. Who are they? With Hayley Williams performing lead vocals, this band formed in 2004, and by 2007, their hit song Misery Business was pushing them to a new level of mainstream success. So that was question number 15, and that wraps up round 3 for this pod. All right, here are the answers to that last section. Question number 11, the Detroit duo we're looking for with the red, black, and white album covers, the White Stripes. The White Stripes. Question number 12, looking for the Pussycat Dolls, who existed throughout the 90s and early 2000s as a neo-burlesque troupe and then kind of reformed with new people in 2003. So the Pussycat Dolls for number 12. Number 13, we're looking for the Killers. Mr. Brightside was their biggest hit, which was the second track on their 2004 debut album, Hot Fuss. The Killers for number 13. Number 14, three brothers and a cousin formed the band Kings of Leon and had their biggest album, Only by the Night, in 2008. So the Kings of Leon for number 14. And then number 15, Misery Business, an absolute classic from the band Paramore, featuring Hayley Williams performing lead vocals. Paramore for question number 15. So there you go. That concludes the trivia component of the Big Dumb Face Trivia Podcast, episode 1. And if you got between 10 and 15 out of the 15 points available, you're doing fantastically well. You're doing amazing. Great job. If you got less than 10, well, I mean, if you got over 7.5, you passed. There's no half points, though. So if you got 8 or above, you passed. If you got less than that, I probably picked demographically inappropriate questions, and I apologize for my actions. It's entirely my fault. But hopefully, you got just enough to keep you coming back. This is kind of how golf works. It just keeps you coming back thinking you're going to do better next time. But in trivia, you actually might do better next time. So I look forward to seeing you for episode 2. So parting shots. This is how I'm going to conclude each episode with a little bit of nonsense. I'm going to go on a tiny little rant on my tiny little platform about something that's important to me, something that's going on in the world maybe, or, an observation or something I want to engage people in discussion about, whatever. Full disclosure, it's usually not going to be super serious at all. Like last week, had I launched this then, I would have talked about the Back to the Future 40th anniversary because that consumed my thoughts and my trivia events for most of the week. Sometimes it'll just be about how my sports teams always fail me. Although my baseball team is doing fairly well right now, this isn't the time for that. This week, I want to talk about my specific demographic and what I believe we should be called. So I alluded to this earlier. I am from the year 1981. I am an elder millennial, a zennial, whatever you want to call us right now. There's too many names. We need to sort this out. Most people say that we are part of a demographic, a micro generation between the birth years 1977 and 1983. I kind of agree with that. We have a very similar shared experience where we had our younger childhood in the analog world. And by the time we were finished high school, there was like internet in the classrooms. So it was a lot of technological growth where we had, childhoods very similar to Gen X, and then high school years very similar to millennials. So neither one of them wants to claim us. We're stuck in the middle. And I just think that because we're in the middle, we can communicate with every demographic right now. Like, we can still communicate with boomers, they're our parents, and we can kind of communicate with Gen Z or Gen Z, whatever you want to call them. We're trying to learn what they're talking about because we're trying to stay a little bit young still. So, we just want to have a little bit of street cred from them. But what I think we should be called is the greatest generation. Now, this term, you may know, was used for our grandparents' generation. The generation that grew up through the First World War, the Great Depression, the Second World War, all that stuff. For the most part, they're not around to take this name back from us. And I think they would be quite pleased with us using it so that it can carry on in their honor. So henceforth, I am proclaiming that what we have called elder millennials, zennials, whatever, the 77 to 83 years, we are now the greatest generation. You're welcome, and I'm glad you're here. So that is a wrap for episode 1 of the Big Dumb Face Trivia Podcast. Thank you so much for checking it out. Thanks for being here. I am already looking forward to episode 2 and plenty more to come after that. I would love to hear from you. You can follow me on Instagram at Big Dumb Face Trivia. Feel free to slide into my DMs and send me a message if you would like. You can find me on the web at bigdumbfacetrivia.com. You can send me an email at adam@bigdumbfacetrivia.com. I host a weekly online trivia event on Zoom every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern. You are welcome to join that. It is very inexpensive fun. Details about that are on my website, bigdumbfacetrivia.com, and of course on my socials as well. And of course, if you enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review. Mostly if you liked it, obviously. If you didn't, feel free to reach out and tell me what you think I can do better. I would love that kind of feedback as well. But those 5-star reviews go a long way, and would appreciate those. So thank you for helping me out there. And a huge thanks to my friends, the Curry Brothers, for letting me use their amazing song, Johnny Ray Gun, as the theme for this podcast. I think it works incredibly well. I encourage you to check them out and check out their store, Curry's Music and Antiques in Gravenhurst, Ontario. They do some really, really cool stuff, and they make some great music as well. So definitely check them out. And thanks, fellas, for letting me use Johnny Ray Gun as the theme here. Now, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. Episode 2 will be coming next week, and from me to you, we will see you next time. My favorite actor. Have a great day, everybody, and thanks again.